Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome. Today is a fabulous day to be fabulous, right? So I'm so excited to have you here. I am Ilika Follette, and I am the host of the Reclaim You event so you can reclaim your influence, right? And that is what we are doing. And when we're thinking about reclaim your influence, what do we think about? We think about growing, we think about stepping into ourselves. Many look at this as business, business, business. There's so many of us that want to grow in our business, grow in our career, but what we don't realize is that we're standing in our own way. And so, what we're going to do today and over these next 2 days is day one, we're going to focus on self. What is it that we're holding on to? What can we step out of? What can we step into so that we can reinvent, so that we can really step into growing in our career, in our lives, in our families, and in our businesses? Because these are the things that we say we want. Have you said you wanted that before? Yes, there are people in this room and we are chatting. We have come together to have these conversations. So over the next 2 days, you'll see speakers, amazing experts in their fields, speaking on things like getting back to me after we, really stepping into recovery from divorce, right? Who are you? What do you do? How do you like your eggs? Really getting to understand that. And these are just today. I'm gonna get into tomorrow in a second. Y'all are gonna pass right out when I tell y'all some of this. And then we're gonna be talking about things like trusting yourself and your intuition. How do you choose you? How do you grow within you? Why are you still ignoring your own gifts? And then how can you reimagine you? How do you set that up for yourself? How do you truly decide who you are? And how on earth is that affecting you in other areas of life? These are the things that we get to through today. These are the things that we get to connect on. And what I would love for you to do is stay engaged. First of all, tell me as you're watching, who is ready for today to start? Who is ready to hear and to really lean into stepping out of their own way? I'm super excited about this. And I know, because I've heard from you already that you're excited too. So we're going to lean into today. And then as we're talking through today, we've got some surprises along the way. And then tomorrow, we're really going to talk about business. We're really going to step into how can you step into your best self in your business? All right. We're talking money mindset. We're talking real solutions and steps to get there. And we're really talking through how do you get your time back so you're not overwhelmed and feeling like you're working 24/7. All right. So stay with us, come with us on this journey, and let's really reclaim your influence. All right. I'm going to call the first speaker right after this. We're going to have a great conversation. I'm super excited. But after this next commercial, we have Felicia Roberts coming to the stage. She is a divorce recovery specialist, and I've never seen anyone take someone through this process in the way I've seen Felicia do it. She's going to tell more about her. I don't want to give everything away, but when I tell you, I've seen her not only do it for her, but really, really do it for others. I've seen folks like leave testimonials about how their lives are changed, how they can't believe that they were hiding because they hadn't been a hider before. So she's going to go into this, but I'm super excited for what she has to offer you all today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Felicia Roberts, divorce recovery specialist. All right, we'll see you in a sec.
New strategies. I'm also a coach, a speaker, and an author of the soon-to-be-released book, The Reinvention Mindset. Do you want more confidence? Do you want time to do what you love? Do you want to feel in control of your life? Imagine waking up every morning with a smile on your face, ready to face the day. You jump out of bed excited to get started. Imagine having the confidence to ask for what you want, knowing that you deserve it, and the answer will be yes. Imagine spending more time with your family, feeling relaxed and connected. Imagine doing what brings you joy every day, loving what you do, and knowing it makes a difference. I went from being frustrated, angry, and shamed, thinking my future was bleak, to feeling energetic, alive, and inspired, choosing what's important in life. I believe the world is a joyful place, full of possibilities. I believe everyone deserves to live a fulfilling, satisfying life. And I believe we can all take control of our lives and reach our full potential. If you'd like to learn more, please schedule a discovery call with me at booklori.com. Or get your free gifts. Scan the QR code here and get 4 free gifts, including a free webinar on the secrets to the reinvention mindset. Thanks, and have a fantastic day.
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone. I am so glad to be here. This event, Ailika, thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and share with other experts to help just all of us, right, be better at who we are. So I want you to imagine, or I want you to raise your hand if this applies to you. Who in this space, whether you're online or in the room with us, has experienced divorce? Raise your hand. Yeah. How about who in this room has helped someone through a divorce? Yeah. So then we see, unfortunately, that this impacts us in some shape, form, or fashion. And if you've had to walk with somebody through divorce, it can be painful for you as well, because you've got someone who's hurting or someone who's stuck in bitterness or anger, right? And they're trying to figure out how to get out of that space. So for me, this happened 10 years ago. Imagine that you suddenly went from a 2-person income to 1. I'm talking suddenly. Imagine that you were homeless for a period of time, because there's so much transition that has to take place. And so 10 years ago, I myself experienced divorce. And I was in a marriage trying to give CPR to a marriage that was dead. It was like a car being in a ditch with all 4 wheels off, and it was on fire. In the midst of that, my mom, when I talk about suddenlies, passed away. I saw her on Mother's Day, and 2 weeks later, on Memorial Day, I get a phone call that she was gone. That then was the epiphany for me, the pivoting point for me to recognize that life was too short and I could no longer spend another day. And I often tell women, for me, it was 20 years and a day was too long in something that was never going to work. So my passion today, who I am, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a registered nurse, I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm an inspirational speaker, and I work with high-achieving Christian women to rebuild their life after divorce, even if they've tried support groups. Because support groups can give you so much support, but there's a place that you've got to start getting off the hamster wheel and working. But my goal is to help them confidently navigate their newfound freedom using my New Woman Blueprint. So think about it. Valentine's Day is coming up. And the Jared commercial or the K commercials, everything begins with K. And so this can be a tough time of year, right? Where every kiss begins with K, but you're tired of struggling with those emotions and pain. I remember for me, I would look around and I'd say, why is she smiling? There's nothing to smile about. How come my marriage didn't work? What did I do that mine didn't work and yours did? You're still in a place where you want to see what I call your husband. For me, this term kind of softened it up. It wasn't like X. So I had this was and been. So my husband, right? You need clarity on how to forgive yourself and your husband. There's a point that you need to get to be able to eventually forgive them as well. You need clarity on how to stop being angry and bitter. You need clarity on how to get better yourself. Why are you hurting so bad? Just a myriad of things. I'm divorced. What do I do now? Who am I now? But I want to let you know there's a better way. And I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share 3 today, power moves to help you accelerate. It's time to get back to the authentic you that no longer hides behind shame and guilt. So if you're ready, say ready or accelerate. Y'all talk back to me. You want to know how to confidently navigate your newfound freedom and rebuild your life? What's holding you back from being able to do that? To be able to see beyond the devastation. Honestly, I believe by you being here today that you're ready to be honest with where you are. And I always say there's no shame or guilt. I remember the support group that I went to. There were women that had come through and oh, hi, how are you? This is your 3rd time? Yeah, this is my 3rd time doing this because I couldn't do the 1st and 2nd time. It was too hard and I left. But who knew that I left? And so here I am back again. So there's no shame or guilt. You're already divorced, but you're still struggling with that pain and shame and guilt and anger and insecurity. Being able to trust yourself again. It's what I call the emotional hamster wheel. You want to be able to break free and move beyond or forward without feeling like a failure. So many women that I talk to feel like a failure when the reality is you're not a failure. The marriage failed. So you're tired of feeling drained emotionally. There were days that I would get up to go to work and literally when I'd get home, my day wasn't hard, but I was emotionally spent because of the internal turmoil. And you're trying to figure out how to face the chains of your past after the divorce so you can start living again. I'm going to share with you these 3 power moves to accelerate your healing after divorce. Power move number 1, they told you that time heals all wounds. Who's heard that before? The reality is it's a lie. Time does not heal wounds. It's what you do with the time that heals wounds. I've seen women who've spent years thinking that if I just wait 5 years or if I just wait 2 years, I'm going to be all better. And yet they're still in the same place they were as the day of the divorce. So I want you to meet my client, Evelyn. Evelyn, before working with me, was in despair and shocked about what she'd experienced. Was married for 15 years. She felt lost and didn't know what to do. But now she's serving in ministry. She's happily remarried. And this is her word. She says, I'm no longer broken and my wounds are no longer scars. Power secret number 2 is I want you to think about establishing priorities and focusing on what you can control. There are a lot of things you don't get to control in this process. But guess what? You can set up your day so that you do what matters to you the most. Where do you spend your time and your energy? Who do you hang out with, right? Because if you're hanging out with someone who's, encouraging you, girl, just go get you another man, you're going to be okay. That's not the person for you, right? So thinking about how you establish your priorities and focus on what you can control. Power move number 3 is I want you to be intentional about taking care of you. What boundaries have you set? I often say saying no is a complete sentence with a period at the end. You don't need to justify if someone's inviting you to events or somebody's saying, girl, come on, let's go. And you're not feeling it today. Say no, mean it, and be okay with that. But how can you take care of you? Do you like journaling? This is the time that we're talking about rediscovering me. Do I like, macaroni and cheese? What is it that you enjoy doing? So if you're ready to learn these 3 power moves, here, I want to talk to you about separating those emotions from the business of the divorce. So the business side is I had to decide where I was going to live. Not to mention, I then was thrown in to start planning a funeral in the middle of that. All the while, I'm a nurse leader. I still got to make decisions. I'm the go-to, got it all together, girl. I got to answer questions. Business is still running. And I have to keep moving and got to keep thinking. So dealing and feeling those emotions so I could make sound decisions in the middle of it. How do you make those sound decisions? Getting support from a coach or even a counselor. Like I said, support groups, I can vouch for them, but they will only take you so far. And I want to just talk a little bit about the difference between a coach and a counselor. A counselor is going to take you and look backwards, right? Taking you from mama's womb up to where you are. Coaching takes you forward, inspires you to see where you can get to, right? So that's the difference between the two. But before we dive into the details, I did share my story already, and how I got here and how I learned to start showing up for me. There, 20 years ago, I was in this marriage. I was in the marriage for 20 years, the relationship. But then I thought, staying and forgiving and staying and getting counseling and staying and deceiving my own self would somehow make the change. And it just was not true. This is Trixie the Clown. This is a skit that I do that talks about this woman who thought that she could go and hide in the middle of a circus and God would never find her. So I start off kind of barefaced, and then I build into this character to show, no, you still are valid. Even though you're in this circus, you still are valid. From the got it all together girl syndrome. Who in here suffered from the got it all together? It ain't gonna happen to me. What? Divorce? Are you kidding? I'm not afraid to say that I wore an emotional and mental mask to survive. And I abandoned me and let myself go. Maybe you can relate, right? So you started doing things that you never saw yourself doing, or you hear the friends that they're just saying things and you're like, girl, stop already. I would never. And as I support women through this process and this journey, those words never come out of my mouth, because I found myself doing some things I said I would never. And it was 21 years later, right? So you may have walked around with the shame and guilt, thinking about how you the ride or die. Some things that we come into agreement with. I don't want to be anybody's ride or die. I want to ride and live. Can we do that? Okay. So, but for me, I also wanted to give my children something that I had never seen before. Divorce was a pattern in my family. So I found myself holding on to something that was dead in order to avoid taking them someplace that we eventually wound up. But it wasn't until I was no longer willing to accept abandoning myself. Here's me at my first 5K. So you talk about rediscovering me and doing the things. I've decided that I was going to get back out there. I connected with an awesome tribe that really supported my journey. I was trying things that I'd never done before, and it was actually exhilarating. But when I first got divorced, I struggled with these things. I was bitter. I was angry. I wanted to get revenge. There were times if I thought I saw him one more time. Here's another step. You need a roof over your head, right? We talked about just those practical things. Do you need to focus on getting support? Do you need to take the mental day off from work, right? What tasks and projects can you let go? So we're talking about voting for you, taking care of you. What needs to happen in the middle of that? As I work with women, it is their priorities. I never set the priority for them. What I think may need to happen, totally different than what they think needs to happen. So we established from the beginning what matters the most to them. And then the third power move is set boundaries and say no and mean it. As I said, give yourself grace and space to face the new reality. Don't stalk we got social media these days. Back in the day, we didn't have social media, but it's in your face now, right? So you're scrolling and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna keep up with everybody. And there he is doing a proposal on Facebook. So are you stalking the page? Have you unfriended? Have you come out of all the social circles, whether it be social media or in person? But this will only keep you grieving that illusion. So these are the hard things that I help women. You got to untangle yourself. I don't want to unfriend him. No, you don't. Till you get better, you need to unfriend him on all platforms. So I have a special gift for you. If you will scan this QR code, you're going to be taken to the 4 people to avoid after divorce. Just a special little token when you open it up. I know that you're going to be blessed by it. So take a look at that. If you got a moment, scan that QR code. So as I said, in order to know that in order to heal, I had to do what I call a self-topsy. You know how you do an autopsy and somebody else, right? This was the self-topsy that I had to do because I had to get real with, number one, why did I tolerate what I tolerated for that long? Those are the hard questions that you got to be able to ask yourself so that I can understand how I thought it was okay to abandon me for the sake of having somebody. But over the next several years, I allowed the Lord to strip me of everything I thought I was so that he could build me back up. I spent intensive time in his word because my life depended on it. So the Lord walked me through the Psalms every day just to show me how much he loved me. And I was now able to fully understand just how deep his love was. And that was the beginning of the stripping away of the shame and guilt. One thing I noticed is that I needed support and accountability that could give me the clarity and process to take the next step I needed to move forward. And then I developed my own framework called the New Woman Framework to help other women come out. So I started helping women rebuild their confidence. I started helping them take small steps that led them to break off the stigma and then understand again, the season of their divorce journey is normal in order for them to deal and heal. And then once I made that hard decision to do my work, I noticed that instead of people getting that gut punch that every time I thought about them or somebody, I would run into people in the grocery store and they're like, "Oh, how's your?" I was just coming to get a package of meat. Now I got to explain to her we're not together. So I had got a script together. If I saw people and they said, "Oh, well, what? How's so?" You said, I said, "I don't know where he is. We're not together." I'd say, "Yeah, girl, look at this pack of meat for $2. Right? Let's get on with it and I don't have to explain it." And I got to a point where I was able to finally forgive him. That when I thought about it, when I thought about everything that happened. So that's now exactly what I do. I walk women through one of the most difficult seasons to support her to turn her pain into purpose. Whether you're newly divorced or it's been some time since your divorce, you can do this too, starting now. This was my other client, Pamela. Before working with me, she was afraid of making the same mistakes, right? And now she's happily securing her own identity. She did not choose to remarry, but she enjoyed her own company. So we start. If you don't do the necessary work, you'll remain stunted in the same place. Who remembers the movie Waiting to Exhale? Yes. Angela Bassett. We need to come out of that because it's not good for us.
Right.
If we ain't burning somebody else's stuff, we're gonna burn something else, right? Diary of a Mad Black Woman. There's another with Kimberly Elise, where she dumped the husband in the tub after it was just all bad. So my signature framework for the New Woman leads women to navigate their healing and newfound freedom after divorce. And I love this picture of the butterfly because that's exactly what it symbolizes. So if you believe it's time, instead of focusing on what was lost, but now focusing on what is found, that's your opportunity. You believe that you were made for greater purpose and that you can get past the shock and death of the identity as your spouse or loss of your hope or dreams to come out of that and be the best version of you. Okay, did I lose? Oh. Your legacy is waiting on you to say yes. My children are adults now. I have grandchildren, and guess what? We can all be in the same space. My grandchildren don't have to feel like they have to pick a side or like, well, if Pops is on the phone, hey, Pops. My granddaughter, she was with him in FaceTime, and she said, "Gigi is Pops." I said, "Oh, hi. I had no idea it was him on the phone. But it tells you the level of your healing. So I said, yeah, okay, I'm good. I didn't feel like I needed to break down and say, hey, Pops, how you doing? It was all good. So it's up to you to make that decision. If you've been rehearsing what could have been and the anxiety of worrying about your whole life after, it's time to get going. It can be exhausting. Maybe I should stay on this side. Stay on this side. There we go. It's time for you to emerge from behind the mask to being empowered and equipped. And I know how to put down the pain and the shame and the guilt and the loneliness and insecurity and all those things and pick up your God-given purpose, because that is also what you have to step into beyond the divorce. So if you're ready, listen, take the bold step. You're probably thinking you don't have time. You don't need this. I've talked to women who are in their second and third marriages. And they got in the second marriage because they were trying to prove to the first marriage that they were okay. Right? They use that as a measuring stick, but you deserve better. I had to heal. It was time for me to take off and rip the bandages off that I had been wearing for 20 years. And it wasn't until then that I pulled those Band-Aids off that I was ready. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what you can expect is a safe, non-judgmental community. And this is where I help women. We come together. A 6-month program is really geared toward, I started out just wanting to do 30 days, but recognizing that it was more than 30 days to really start getting you through the process. So what we cover today is the 3 power moves that accelerated my healing after divorce and how you can too. And I'm going to take you past those because those are the ones I've talked. But now is your time.
Yes.
It's your time to stop waiting and get to the right time to take that leap into rebuilding yourself. I don't have any special advantages or skills other than what I have gained over the time and my experience as a leader and going through the process myself. But my system works and it will work for you too. But I'm going to say this. I want to see you healed and whole. This newfound joy and life that I lived beyond divorce is something I'm passionate about seeing every woman experience. So what we will create by the end of our time together is we'll establish and execute at least one clearly defined priority goal. You already have a lot going on. So we're not trying to add on extra things to do, but what's one goal that you want to work on? I work with women that are empty nesters. So really recreating that goal. Remember I told you that I had to go from suddenly I had 2 incomes to now down to 1. There were some changes I had to make. Okay. So thinking about that, creating your own roadmap to confidently navigate your newfound freedom, identifying your core values. Who are you? Who are you now? Because you were a wife. You were somebody's wife that came home at 5 o'clock and cooked dinner every day. Who are you now? Right. And then establishing a daily affirmation routine is one of the other things that I help women do. And then setting 2 boundaries. This is a tough one because as women, we're used to doing for everybody else. We want to make sure everybody else is set and good. But at least setting 2 boundaries that if it's even in your friend circles or wherever in church or whatnot, that you're establishing those boundaries. So I want to invite you. I'm having a masterclass next Thursday, the 15th. To scan this QR code that will take you to get the invite for the Rediscovering Me After We Masterclass. And I want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, that is my contact information. Facebook, you can find me. That's where I drop all my jewels and go live and all that good stuff. But thank you all for your time, and I'm glad to have been here. Thank you, Alika.
Yes. I'm going to put on my shoes because I realized I didn't have them on. Just call me Patti LaBelle. You know, she kicks
Kick
off her
them off.
shoes. Yeah, kick them off. I mean, Felicia's presentation was so good, I just threw my shoes up. I was like, forget it. So, Felicia, this is amazing. What I really love is I saw how, your people, you had those testimonials up there of folks who came up and they said, thank you, Felicia, and your program for what you've done for me. Here's the question I have for you. 6 months ago, 6 months before these people started working with you, do you think they would have shown those pictures of themselves up there?
No,
Right.
no. And so, when I ask, because I often ask, because this can be, again, safe, non-judgmental. I always ask, do they want their pictures or can I share your pictures? That is the transformation, is even you not being in the room and being able to show your face, right? And the stigma and the shame and guilt that becomes. So that's a huge win in itself. They're like, yeah, girl, put me up.
Exactly, right. Because I mean, there's so much shame that we lean into. You spoke about the shame that is leaned into when you've experienced divorce.
Yeah.
And to now stand out proud, like, hey, I'm here. This is me.
Yep.
That's a game changer.
That's huge.
Yeah. That woman is now like, yes, I've experienced this, and this does not define me.
Exactly.
And
That's
so
exactly.
I love how you gave those what did you call them?
Power moves.
Power moves,
Yeah.
right? Because they're stepping into their power.
Yeah.
They're stepping into themselves. They're rediscovering me after week.
Yeah.
And wait, you said you have a masterclass?
Like coming up
Yep. When is it?
Thursday, February 15th, 7
Okay.
o'clock.
Need to get back to that QR code because I know it's some people here, some people watching right now. In the GPS Success Facebook group, there was a post like, who's experienced divorce? And I saw a bunch of me's, and then I saw a bunch of people on there who saw it, but didn't say me. Imagine being that person who saw that post, knows that you've experienced divorce, but then and you don't want to say me because of the shame. Now imagine see yourself 6 months from now. You've gone to this masterclass. You connected with Felicia. And 6 months from now, you could be on this board saying, this is me. And I like poached eggs. Because you have rediscovered.
I love it.
Yes. I don't like poached eggs.
You actually
that
don't.
person might. Yeah. But that is the point, right? You get to step back into you and stop hiding. Stop choosing Netflix and chill. Not because you want to. Sometimes you want to Netflix and chill. Sometimes we're choosing it as a way. Yes, to power. To step out. All right. So what I also would love to hear, Felicia, because wait, I don't want to take over all the questions because you know me, I will ask, right? And I saw some questions coming up. So Roberta, I think you said you had a question earlier.
If you could, in this masterclass, you only shared 3 amazing tips, but I know you have more.
Yes.
So in this masterclass, will we learn and take us to the next step?
Absolutely. So I share my other power moves. I just dropped you some nuggets today, but there's some other power moves that I talk about that actually have to deal with the work, the steps that we take. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So seeing yourself really step into it and deciding that you're ready, right? You're tired of it.
Yeah.
What was it? I know you said you had that shift and a lot of things happened with your mother passing. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
And, choosing for divorce. But what was it once you decided, okay, we're going to do this? What was it that made you say, I actually need healing now? I need something to shift now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you, it was my children. Because I'm all about legacy. And I wanted to ensure that I did not leave a legacy of anger and bitterness and now to them.
Yes.
So to my children, my adult children and grandchildren. So it wasn't just about helping me navigating this space, but then helping my children and my grandchildren navigate. And that was important to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to pass that down to them again, where they wouldn't be able to say, hey, Gigi, it's Pops on the phone. And I was like, hi.
Right.
Absolutely. So we can be in spaces and places together. He's of course remarried. I'm remarried. I'm grateful for my husband. So being in those, and that was important. That was another catalyst for me. I did not want that to pass down to them.
Oh, That's so key. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge. Because how many people I know people who've experienced divorce, and I know people who cannot be in the room
Yeah.
with that person. We all know people, right? Like everyone here nodded their heads because they know people like that. Imagine having healed to the point where y'all are celebrating, y'all are together on Christmas because you want your family, your kids want to be together and not go from house to house on Christmas. Imagine you and your husband and him and his wife, right? But husband, sorry. you and your husband and the husband and his wife, all together at the dinner table on Christmas with your children and your grandchildren because you've healed to the point where it's okay, where it feels comfortable and normal. Yes.
Perfect scenario. My daughter, her birthday, she wanted both of us there. I was single at the time, but she wanted both of us there. And I said, oh my gosh, she wants me to go. I don't know. Am I good? I'm not good. My sister-in-law, who like, she said, you going? I said, girl, I'm going. She said, I'm going with you. My tribe. So talk about that. Is one of the power moves. But she came, and I found myself sitting at the table, all of us, and him and his wife.
Mhm.
And I was okay. Now, even today, some people be like, girl, are you kidding? And I said, yeah, no, I'm not kidding you. And we spoke. I said hi to her.
Yes.
Because I knew what she was getting with you. Hi,
let me help you out.
yeah, I see you. Hey, girl. But to be at that table together, that was another monumental. So when I talk about this journey, it wasn't like, boom, I'm healed. I had to walk through every step to go, okay, I'm healed here. Okay, I'm healed here. Oh, okay, I'm doing this. I'm healed here. So those were the steps that I had to take to know that I was healed.
Oh, that's major.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Felicia. This
Absolutely.
is incredible. The people that this will help, because those of us out here who have helped someone through divorce, right? We've helped someone, but we don't know what we're doing. Like, let's just be honest, right? We tried to help them through it, but all we can be is a listening ear. Meanwhile, Felicia is here with actual steps, a process, giving them the blueprint to step through this, but their own blueprint. It's not like this is cookie cutter, right?
Absolutely.
It is their own blueprint to step through this. And guess what? You get to start here, right? And if you are like, well, shoot, I'm happily married, so I don't need to start here. I bet you have a cousin that's still struggling. You have a sister that's still struggling through this. You have a best friend that is still struggling through this. Who can you send this presentation to? Who can you send this QR code to? Take your phone out and connect to this QR code so that you can send it to your friend. Oh, go ahead.
I got a question. What about men or women? It's just women, right?
Yes.
What about women who feel like they're on the verge of divorce?
I'm on the other side. I know folks that will help with prior to, but my zone of genius in my heart, I don't want to lead you up to a divorce because I love marriage because it's God's idea
Yeah.
and it's not my marriage. So once you've made the decision, I'm here on the other side to help you out. Yeah.
So then what I would suggest also for the folks who are on the other or who are like on their way, I would say connect with you so you can refer them. Because she has people that they work with, right? Those people refer them, work with them through the process and then refer them to Felicia for the, yeah. Okay.
I have a question. It seems like the skills you're teaching not only would help someone heal and recover from the divorce, but help them keep themselves when they get into that next relationship. Have you found that to be true?
That is absolutely. Now you show up as the best version of you in this new marriage, if you so choose. Because what I have found is someone like, girl, I don't want to get remarried. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's get you loving you and living the fabulous life. But absolutely, you are better now positioned. I was better positioned when my husband showed up because I had done all the things that I wanted to do in finding my purpose. So when he found me, I was ready. Totally ready.
Yes.
One of the things that I was able to glean from this, which I think is really powerful, is that for someone like myself who is not divorced, but I'm in an empty nest. And so a lot of these principles, rather than who am I when I'm not a missus, but who am I when I'm not a mom?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I can
So many.
see that empty nest person feeling like my marriage is good, but I'm not running all over town anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not a classroom mom anymore.
Uh-huh.
I'm not organizing birthday parties anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. The setting the boundaries. Oh,
The
Mhm.
setting the
Absolutely.
boundaries, the rediscovering who you are,
Yes.
taking
Yes.
the time. So
good analogy.
that the concept of the program, I want to encourage any empty nesters that you can learn and grow, because empty nesting is a loss too.
Mhm. Yep.
We went
There
from
too.
a us to a
Mhm.
we.
Yeah.
Yep. And I bet for those empty nesters, they could come to the masterclass. And I bet when they get to that masterclass, they'll also think of 10 friends who have gone through divorce, who have experienced divorce,
Mhm.
who were like, you should have been here. I told you to come. Now I'll tell you my experience at this class. So then you can come for yourself, at the next one. Because this is the one you want to be at for sure. And you definitely want to connect with her.
I had a friend
because-
send her boss.
Yep.
I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
You care about your boss like that, send her.
She probably cared about how her boss was treating her.
Absolutely.
Sometimes,
Right.
right?
The impacts of divorce. And she was
Yes.
like, she keeps on the job.
Mm-hmm.
She's complaining about the marriage and I can't help her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the thing here. People, you may be watching this thinking, why would someone be talking about divorce and recovering from divorce when you're reclaiming your influence, when you're reclaiming you? Well, guess what is holding so many folks back, right? It's that rediscovering, that understanding, rediscovering me after we. That is impacting that woman, like that woman said, her boss. It was impacting her at work. So if it was impacting her at work, imagine what home life has to be like. If you're acting a fool at work, the place that usually you're trying to put on the best possible you. If you're acting up there, imagine what home is like.
There's also research that shows that divorce impacts productivity at work.
Mm.
How do I know that? When I was at work and I'm leading a team of people, I don't have it today. Because I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go home to a disaster, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I would have to close my door at work and put on my door, give me 5 minutes. Because the grief is coming. Remember my mom?
Mhm.
And I had no idea which one I was grieving on any moment of the day.
Oof.
So there are impacts everywhere. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So now is the time, right? She had a whole slide literally that said, now is the time. Now is the time to reclaim me after we. So let's step into here, get into this masterclass, connect with Felicia, and let's get moving, right?
Yeah.
Tired of sitting still, tired of sitting in that space of, well, I don't know. Well, I'm hiding. Well. No, it's time to stand up. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Felicia.
Thank
This
you.
is awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Story. All right. So that was what you saw. That was Reclaim Me After We. So if you're like, oh my goodness, this has been amazing, and I know that I want to continue to connect with these additional experts and speakers and continue moving into this space, be sure so that you can get notifications when our speakers are coming up, that you can get our notifications after lunch, that you can get notifications tomorrow to continue to show up and choose you in this space. Be sure to text 443-594-8433. If you text day one to 443-594-8433, you're going to basically be able to get notifications so that you can come and see what is going on, right? You get to actually hear about how to trust yourself and trust your gifts and listen closely to your own intuition, right? You're going to really get to lean into reimagining you, right? Resetting who you get to be, right? What this life gets to look like without all the crap, right? Because we all got this crap. What could it actually look like? These are things we're talking about today, just today. Tomorrow, I feel like I almost took off my jacket, but my mic is on my jacket, so I can't, right? I almost took off my jacket because I get so excited. Tomorrow, we're talking about money mindset, right? How do you step out of your own way when it comes to what you can grow to be, right? What story are you living into, right? We're talking about how to stand fully in your own voice, how to stand on a stage and command it, right? These are things that are real, that allow you to grow not only in your own life, in your own self, but in your freaking business, in your career. Guess what? We aren't only speaking on stages as business, as having our own businesses. We're speaking on stage in careers. I know when I was at these Fortune 500 companies, which try not to say online what companies I was at, but you can go to my LinkedIn. But when I was at these Fortune 500 companies, I had to stand in boardrooms. I had to stand on stages and speak, right? But I didn't even understand my own voice or where I was or who I was. So it didn't quite resonate. Imagine being in front of a boardroom with the CEO, the CFO, the CIO. I was like, y'all just started this CIO thing. Do they got to be there? This was in early 2000s. So it's the CHRO, like all these different folks, right? That was new back then. So I'm like, why they got to be here too? I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Y'all just threw me up here. But you got to stand there. You're walking in and you're speaking about something that you know about, but you think they're all so much better than you because they got a C in front of their name and you just got your name, right? And so you're like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Maybe what I'm saying isn't even gonna help. What if they're like, she don't know how to talk, let's get her out of here. And all of a sudden they fire me. Like we start leaning into all these things. And guess what? Tomorrow, when Roberta gets up here, she's going to be talking about how to get over that shit, food stuff. My mama might be watching. How to get over that, right? Right? Nicolette's going to get up here and talk about how you get to use your voice. Shiraz is going to step up and he's going to say, you know what? You made that mess up. Step out of that story. He's not going to say it like that because that's how I talk. But these things get to happen. We get to step into it, right? And so if you're like, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss any more today, but my kids are yelling, so I know I'm going to need to watch back. Guess what? We're going to send a recap to the folks who text day one to 594-443-8433. You get to get a recap of everything that played out each day, and you get to go back and watch it. We're setting this up for you to really, really step into reclaiming your influence. And if that's what you want, you better text that number, day one to 443-594-8433. I pray to God I'm saying the right number right now because I have to remember it. So this was amazing. I think we're going to go to commercial really quickly. And then we are bringing up Louise Lopez. Louise is a spiritual alignment coach at Lopez Taylor Coaching. She's an absolutely amazing woman. And she has a story. I can't share her story. I wish I could because it's such an amazing story. But one day you might hear me telling Louise's story somewhere. I'll obviously say it's Louise's story, but it is incredible the things that she's been able to connect and open herself up to again. And now she is sharing that with you because guess what? We get to trust ourselves, right? In that moment, in that boardroom that I just mentioned, are you trusting yourself when the CEO, the CFO, the CHRO, the CIO are standing there and you're thinking, I'm just me, right? And you're thinking, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And you get this little thing, this little nudge that says, I do know. You do know what the heck you're talking about. And I'm showing you how to do it. And you're like, no, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm not supposed to be here, right? No, we get to trust us. So Louise is going to take you through that process right after this commercial. Look at us, we got commercials.
Are you these are my people. When I saw how Donna and Chanel interacted with the group and the group was interacting, I was like, gosh, I think I do want to be a part of this type of an event.
I just went to Chanel and I said, hey, I think my business is doing okay, but I know it could be doing a whole lot better. And I'm looking for a coach to help me break through the ceiling that I feel like I've hit. And yeah, I really feel like I've watched Chanel blossom. There's such a big difference between where she was in her business when we first met just 2 years ago and where she is now. And just to be watching her was a testimony.
Your $1 million idea literally is in this room. Donna and I literally have handpicked each one of you. We build wealth through relationships. How many of y'all are excited about building wealth through relationships?
What's so funny is they think before they do this that they are so crystal clear on their message.
I thought that I was raising the bar, and I was told yesterday that I am not a bar raiser. I am following the standard. I think I'm kind of in the middle.
And then what happens is they realize there are holes in their messaging. And I work with empty nesters to stage and list their homes for a maximum amount of profit and minimum amount of stress.
There was like this whole moment where she was like, oh,
A complete aha moment.
Yeah, she had a complete wait a minute moment. And then I go, that's not who you serve. So you have to say something like, we package your memories in a way that matter. Our guests are amazing badasses and powerhouses in their business. They do have the capacity to 10x their business.
We turn
this year.
experts into sought-after media
The
authority.
fact that you take that medication, you already believe that it's doing something
I
for
work
you.
with high-achieving women who want to enjoy the increase in their wealth and master their money like a boss.
No. These are established entrepreneurs that haven't had the opportunity, rather, to sit and have somebody just really look at their business in a very insightful, unique way. All right, so pack up your stuff. We gonna party, dance. Open bar starts at 6-ish. Very casual. If y'all want to go, put your pajamas on, hang out in the pool, whatever. I'm a little tired, a little bit, just burnt from the past couple of days. My heart is full of being able to just be in the room, witness the transformation. I'm excited for the business owners that were here and their transformation. And I can't wait to hear all of the great news and updates that we're going to be getting over the next couple of weeks just from them being able to apply that 10X exercise to their business.